Well, it's been forecasted here as well as across the meteorological community that Eunice was going to be a storm to remember. It was going to be one of the strongest storms to affect the southern half of the British Isles in some 30 years. Thanks for clicking on to the Saturday afternoon edition of Vogan's European Outlook. Dramatic scenes in London and across many parts of southern Britain, including Wales as well. We had wind gusts in excess of 120 miles per hour, and I believe provisionally it is the strongest wind gust on record for England. A gust of 122 miles per hour at Needles Point on the western tip of the Isle of Wight. A very exposed spot indeed, but incredible to see a wind gust in excess of 122 miles per hour at that particular site. Part of the roof getting ripped off the O2 Arena in London, and we've seen some very dramatic footage, both on land, at sea, as well as in the skies, battering waves, and this was on the Cornish coast. Incredible stuff. This was also in Cornwall. A seemingly ancient-looking tree getting blown over. Trees getting blown over onto power lines on railways, trucks getting blown over, and even the Cross Solent ferry between the mainland and the Isle of Wight getting blown against a pier. Pilots having incredible skill trying to land in such incredible crosswinds, as you can see in this footage here. This is a video of Sky News in Australia. Just remarkable scenes indeed, as you can see here. This is flights coming into Heathrow. This is incredible as well. Of course, wind tunnels created in the centre of London. People getting blown off their feet. Look at this here. This woman almost getting blown into the water there. I'm assuming that's the Thames. And another view of lorries getting blown over. Always a little bit nerve-wracking when I see that, because of course I do drive a truck for a living myself. In fact, during Storm Malik a couple of weeks ago, I was encountering wind gusts in excess of 80 miles per hour on my way between Everton, where I'm based, which is about 23 miles north of Inverness. I took the trip up to Tesco's at Wick, and I was in fact driving a double-decker that morning. Dornoch Bridge shut the high side of vehicles, and it was pretty scary stuff, I must admit. So I really do see lorries getting blown over, and I think I've been relatively close a couple of times, but touch wood, I've always stayed on my wheels. And I hope that, of course, continues for a long time to come. But sad to see 9 deaths, I believe, reported from Storm Eunice. There was also record wind speeds on the continent as well. Amsterdam was seeing trees getting blown over as well. But it looks as if the system did live up to the billing, to it, the hype, if you will. And we did see widespread gusts of 70 to 80 miles per hour on the south coast. There's that 122 mile per hour gust on the western tip of the Isle of Wight here, 90 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour. We had a wind gust of 85 in West Yorkshire. That looks as if that's just to the west of Hull, an 82 mile per hour gust. And even in Greater London, we were seeing wind speeds in excess of hurricane force. So I think there was a couple of West London sites that reported 77 mile per hour gusts. So right up there with some of the big storms of the last 2 to 3 decades across the British Isles. And Dan Hawley, based out of Norwich, I believe, always provides some great tweets and great information. He put up this tweet there saying that provisional analysis from Storm Eunice suggests many sites in the southern half of the British Isles recorded their strongest wind gusts in 20 to 30 years. So a very significant event indeed. Storm Eunice, unfortunately, will be remembered for a long time to come in terms of the dramatic winds and scenes it created, as well as, unfortunately, death. Um, Even today, while Storm Eunice well into the mainland Europe, this was the scene that I had this morning at approximately 4 o'clock. Snow covered A9 between Inverness and, well, really Slough Summit and Dalwhinnie. No surprise, really. I know it was atrocious yesterday, and it wasn't too pretty even this morning. And then even the stretch between the junction for Blackpool for the M55, should I say, down as far as Charnock Richard. The snowflakes were massive. I don't know if anybody was in the area, kind of mid to late morning today, and it was really coming down. It was hard to see. The flakes were massive, and it was doing its best to stick on the road on the M6. So very nasty conditions for a period of time, and it's all courtesy of an area of low pressure that's crossing the country through the course of this afternoon. So here's that feature coming across here. So heavy snowfall over high ground, heavy rainfall to low levels, gusty winds, of course, as well. And that system will push on through. So that's, of course, Storm Eunice here. So well into Eastern Europe, and very much filling, if you notice here. That's the system through the course of today. And then, of course, here is our next troublemaker for tomorrow here. So we've got heavy showers and a period of heavy persistent rain, hill snow across the north, extending down through the north of England, through the Midlands, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and shower activity a little bit further south as well. Very strong winds, 50, 60, even 70 mile per hour, especially across northern portions of the British Isles. But even across the coastline, we could see some very significant wind gusts all the way down to the south coast, actually. And this system will push on through, followed by cold air and shower activity, snow showers coming back down to lower levels once again once that frontal system pushes through. But folks, this pattern is not going to break down anytime soon. We've got this area of low pressure that kind of takes a southward dive over the northern half of the British Isles. So heavy snowfall still affecting the northern half of the British Isles here. But then we've got more areas of low pressure that push our way here. Notice here that the track is now starting to return to more Greenland and towards Iceland. The frontal system associated with these areas of low pressure will cross the British Isles. This is Tuesday the 22nd, and then it's followed by colder air back in behind the front, bringing the return of snowfall here. And let's have a very quick look at the snow prospects. This is through the course of today, and you've got, of course, the snow widely away from the coast, and especially just about maybe a couple of 100 feet, 2 to 500 feet above sea level. You've got a pretty decent snow cover across much of Scotland, actually. No snow down to low levels through the central belt, but get in any elevation at all, and you've got plenty of snow. This is the system through the course of this afternoon. Heavy snowfall across parts of the Pennines, through the North York Moors and the Dales, North Wales, a strip of southern Ireland as well. We'll see snow, and then as we go through the next several days here, we'll continue to see this kind of waxing and waning. Kind of melts off, the snow kind of retreats back to the hills once again. Then you get the next system coming through. The snow then expands once again, so you get the overall idea. It's been like that now for a few weeks here, and you see here as we play through the loop in the next week, the snow continues to do that. Notice here that the ECMWF, or this is in fact the GFS, is showing a little bit more expansive snow further south as well. So we may get several more opportunities for snow over the next week or so. So, yeah, continuing to remain very, very unsettled indeed. And stormy will continue as well. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I will try and be back tomorrow with more. I'm actually traveling to France tomorrow morning, so I will try and get a video out tomorrow, but if I don't get the opportunity to do that, it might come on Monday. Bye for now.